So, Manchester United have reportedly inquired to sign an 18-year-old superstar at centre forward, one of the best 18-year-olds, arguably some would say the best in world football. Who is he, and are these reports true? Could this be INEOS' third signing? We also have reports coming out about Newcastle's fears about what will happen if Dan Ashworth leaves United. The latest on Dan Ashworth, Omar, Berrada, a few more sporting appointments going on at United, and things going on behind the scenes. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And first of all, we're going to talk about the Mathys Tel news, why he'd be amazing signing for United, and do I think this news is credible? So, it was said by Florian Plettenberg, who is a decent source of Bundesliga information, but also has really good connections to people in the Bundesliga. So this very much could be a briefing from Tel's side, because Tel's a fantastic player and arguably should be getting more minutes with Bayern Munich than he's getting. It was said Manchester United have made contact for the first time and are interested in signing Mathys Tel. Mathys Tel wants to stay at Bayern Munich, but if he doesn't receive the feeling that the German club believe in him, he will consider his options. Along with Manchester United, two more English clubs have inquired about the 18-year-old in recent weeks. United have intensively analysed Mathys Tel in the last weeks. United have contacted his management, have inquired about potential transfer in the summer as another striker is wanted. So what we know is another striker is wanted. I would assume that this is the kind of signing that INEOS would want to make. This is the kind of player United want to look at, because he honestly is a brilliant player, has potential to be an absolute brilliant player. But I think he's only had about 700, 800 minutes at Bayern Munich this season, which as an 18-year-old isn't too bad. But when you look at Bayern Munich, when you look at how good he is, you could argue that he does deserve more minutes, more chances. I personally believe that while United would be interested in him, while INEOS would be interested in him, I think he wants to stay at Bayern Munich. He wants to get more minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if this was his agent going to Florian Plettenberg and sort of putting out that United are pushing for him, United are interested, because while I think United are interested, I don't know if we'd have really made any contact until we know the latest on Dan Ashworth, Omar, Berrada. I don't know. I know what INEOS are moving quick. We're going to get into that new stadium, the new Trafford Centre. I know INEOS is moving very, very quick, but that does seem quite quick. So I would take it with a pinch of salt. I bet we want him, and I bet we would go for him in the summer. I feel like we will. But I don't know if this is just a bit of a briefing, because I feel like Man United transfer news right now, I think until probably a couple of weeks, once Dan Ashworth is confirmed, then we can take it a bit more seriously. But why would he be good? Now, people saying, Alice, why is he good? Because one, he's 18, and for an 18-year-old, who's like Kobbie Mainoo in attack, when you look at an 18-year-old, you're like, wow, you're good. But it's more that he's versatile. And the reason I like him is because he's a centre forward, but he can play left wing, could probably play right wing as well. He is very hard-working, will press, he's got the legs. One thing about United is we lack players with the legs, we lack players with technical quality. Eriksen's got technical quality, but not the legs. Anthony's got the legs, but not the technical quality. McTominay's got the legs, but not the technical quality. He's got the legs and the technical quality, like Højlund, like Dalot, like Martinez, like Kobbie Mainoo, to play in Ten Hag's system. Is very hard-working and has very good ball ability, but also he presses well. Højlund presses well. Our other wingers don't press as well. He is mostly a centre forward, but he can also play left and side forward. So he's a similar-ish profile to Rashford, but definitely more of a natural centre forward. I say similar to Rashford, I mean positional wise. And I think his athleticism and technical ability is something that United's missing. One thing I've noticed about him from watching him, he's got very good ball striking when he gets the ball, when he has a shot, very good finisher of the ball. And I think his positional awareness is very good for an 18-year-old. His IQ, his reading of the game. And what makes him exciting is he's a fast, good dribbler and can be a threat in transition, but also a threat in low block, because he has good movements, he makes good runs, he makes good 1-2s to break down low blocks, but also because he's quick, he's a good ball carrier, he's very, very good in the transition, and he's levels ahead of other centre forwards his age and versatile. And I think if there's something there, and United look at it, because this guy can play left wing, he can play centre forward, he's a good backup for Højlund, he's versatile, he's brilliant, he can be a superstar, go for it. Him, a right wing, two centre backs and a DM would be an amazing window. And if you can look at his statistics, someone said, oh my god, he's only got 9 goal contributions in 27 games. He's 18, he's got 9 goal contributions in 731 minutes. That is literally a goal contribution like every 84 minutes or something like that. I can't be able to do the maths. That is a goal contribution a game. Yes, he's in the Bundesliga, but he's got 2 goals and assists in the Champions League as well. Considering his limited minutes, his contributions, 2 goals and assists in the Champions League in 127 minutes, his contributions, especially because Bayern are nowhere near their best. Like, people don't realise this. Obviously, Bayer Leverkusen have been amazing, but Bayern have dropped off a bit recently, shows that. And I saw Robbo tweet this, and I thought he made a really good point. And these are all the sort of reported targets: Euro Silva Todibo at centre back, Branthwaite and Neto as left centre backs, Elise Bakayoko, Neto Williams as right wing, and Tel and Xerxes are actually being linked to players where I'm like, you know what? These are the type of players United should be signing. We're not being linked to some crap. We're not being linked to some player that we don't need. We're actually being linked to players that I'm like, yes. And you know, INEOS, Brailsford, Berrada will have some say in what we're looking at. And I think nearer the summer we'll get an idea of who we'll close in on. We do have to take transfers with a pinch of salt, but he'd be good. The other striker we linked with heavily was Xerxes, but apparently that's somewhat diminished. I mean, in terms of future ability, Tel, I think, will be a lot better than Xerxes. But again, Xerxes was a decent name. But I want to get away from the transfer news because, as I've said, it could be a briefing. It could just be people putting out information because he's not playing as much as he wanted to. But I think this is exciting, but Manchester United and the Trafford Council have announced regeneration plans. This talk of a stadium is bosh happening. You know, basically, this talk of a stadium, this talk of regeneration, bosh happening. Obviously, this isn't so much the stadium, it's just general regeneration. But basically, we had a few rumours that United were going to do the stadium, this and that. And less than a week later, we now have news about a regeneration plan of United's ground, but also around the media city, around Manchester, that it's been announced. It's the fact that INEOS are coming in, they're doing things quick. INEOS come in, Omar Berrada's announced. INEOS getting the deal ratified, they're instantly going in for Dan Ashworth. That could be done this week. Talk last week of INEOS wanting a new stadium. It's been announced by the Trafford plan that there's a new media city, new United ground plan to regenerate it. I like that all of a sudden I'm just waking up. Oh, wow, United are doing something. I don't think we've had this in my lifetime that I can remember because social media wasn't around when I was really young. Where I'm just waking up and going on social media. Oh, United just signed Omar Berrada. Wasn't expecting that. Oh, United just announced plans for this. Oh, United just want to do this. It's like, oh, wait, it's not rumours about what United are going to do. You wake up and, oh, United are going to do something. And talking and doing something, we obviously came out the other day once the FA approved the deal that they're going in for Dan Ashworth, who has reportedly an informal agreement with Manchester United and INEOS. He's now waiting for them to make an official approach and they can agree a compensation package with Newcastle. Newcastle aren't going to make it easy, but I think it will be done. Eddie Howe was asked about Dan Ashworth having access to Newcastle secrets, and he said, your concerns are relevant. I don't know quite how much I can say on that, but I share your feelings. And that's why I say he's in a position of power with a lot of intelligence and information. That's why it's a slightly unusual situation. I don't know why I did weird acts with Eddie Howe there. But they don't want to lose him. And there's, you know, Newcastle thought they hit the jackpot with Dan Ashworth. They don't want to lose this guy. He knows a lot of stuff. He's a top guy. Newcastle secrets. But like, he wants United, and I think that will be done. In terms of United and the latest news, The Guardian did say that Omar Berrada has set out his Manchester United plans early, desperate to create a tight management team to forge a new path for the club. Berrada is eager to appoint a deputy CEO and has spoken to at least one senior person in football finance about the role. Was the first story coming out, and I think what's been noticeable, and if you watched my Math Ranit video yesterday, is that United want to create a new tight-knit staff that all work together. The Glazers did not work with those below them, had very little communication with Murta and Arnold. Brailsford, Blanc, Ratcliffe want to be heavily involved with Omar Berrada. Omar Berrada wants to bring in 2 or 3 people alongside him, including Dan Ashworth. United want to build this new management team, this new structure, this new staff team that I don't know why we didn't build 10 years ago, to be honest. And it was also said that Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox have already held discussions with Omar Berrada, and Dan Ashworth's arrival would basically mean that John Murta goes. We spoke about that in yesterday's live stream. The reason Dan Ashworth turned down United in 2022 is he didn't want to work for John Murta. I say the cheek of United asking Dan Ashworth if he wants to work for John Murta when Dan Ashworth is levels ahead of John Murta. That explains how the Glazers ran the club. And then lastly, it was also said a key to Dan Ashworth's rise to the highest echelons is his seamless ability to siege between boardroom and training ground on comfortable both suit and tracksuit. And if you don't know what this means, is Dan Ashworth actually started a career more in the footballing side, in the coaching side, in the academy side as a player. He's a proper footballing person. He's not like Arnold, who's a rugby person, or Woodward, who's an accountant banker. Dan Ashworth's a proper footballing guy, and he was obviously working on the footballing side at West Brom before he was given the sort of sporting director, technical director role. He loves to watch football. He knows about football. And you've got Omar Berrada, who watches football, knows about football, but is very financially competent. You've got Dan Ashworth, that's very long-term, strategically competent, that knows a lot about football. Jason Wilcox potentially coming into the academy. Sam Jewell potentially coming in and doing final details with, of course, Ashworth, and then potentially someone else that could work alongside Omar Berrada to help him again with financials, which is something again that Blanc is very good at. And all of a sudden, Manchester United have gone from having the clowns, and that's probably offensive to clowns, but we've almost gone from having the most incompetent people running this club to all of a sudden, wow, like we're running this club how we should have been running this club for the last 10 years. Wow, we're getting the right people in, we're getting roles here, we're getting roles there. It's like, wow, Man United finally doing what needs to be done. Finally bringing this person in, finally bringing that person in. Anyway, please do that like button. Please do subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.